Have you ever had the feeling that your body was trying to tell you something, but you just couldn't quite figure out what it meant? It might sound like a strange idea at first. After all, we're used to thinking that how long we live depends mostly on our genes or family history. And while that's partially true, recent medical research is showing us something even more powerful. Your body is constantly sending signals about your current health and even about how long you might live. These signs aren't always dramatic. In fact, many of them are so subtle that they're easy to ignore or brush off as just getting older. A little less energy, a slower walk, a handshake that's not quite as firm as it used to be. But beneath those changes, there can be a deeper story, one that reveals how your heart muscles, lungs, immune system, and brain are really doing. And the most surprising part, some of these signs have been linked to lifespan prediction with astonishing accuracy. Doctors and scientists have found that a few simple physical changes you can observe in everyday life, are strongly tied to long-term outcomes like independence, mobility, and yes, even life expectancy. That's why this video isn't here to scare you. It's here to empower you, because when you understand what these signs are and what they might mean, you can take meaningful action. In fact, for many people, recognizing these warning lights early has helped them make small changes that led to big improvements in health and quality of life. In today's video, we're going to walk through 5 crucial signs your body might be giving you right now, signs that are scientifically linked to aging and longevity. We'll explain what each sign means, what causes it, and most importantly, what you can do about it. You'll hear real-life stories of older adults who experienced these signs and what they did to respond. You'll also get simple, practical strategies to help strengthen your body, improve your energy, and stay healthy as you age. So if you're over 60 and want to stay independent, sharp, and strong for years to come, I encourage you to watch closely and listen carefully, not just to me, but to your own body as well. Stay with me, because by recognizing these signs early, you can take back control of your health starting today. Now let's begin with the first one. If you want to know how long someone might live, one of the simplest ways to find out isn't through a blood test or a brain scan. It's through a handshake. Yes, really. Grip strength, the force you use when shaking someone's hand, opening a jar, or carrying groceries, is emerging as one of the most powerful predictors of overall health and even longevity. Researchers have been surprised to find that this single measure is closely tied to your heart health, your muscle quality, and even your risk of dying early. Now, it's easy to overlook a weaker grip. After all, hands get tired, right? Maybe you've noticed it's harder to twist the cap off a water bottle. Or maybe you used to carry all your grocery bags in one trip, and now it takes 2. Let me tell you about George, a 75-year-old retired carpenter from Minnesota. George spent most of his life working with his hands, building houses, repairing furniture, and gardening on weekends. He took pride in his strong hands and firm handshake. But over the past couple of years, things started to change. He found himself asking for help opening jars. His grip on tools wasn't as steady, and he began to notice that when he shook hands with friends, they were the ones squeezing tighter. At first, George thought, "I'm just getting older, that's all." But what he didn't know was that his declining grip strength was telling a deeper story. His body was losing muscle faster than it should, and his cardiovascular system wasn't as strong as it used to be. You see, grip strength isn't just about muscle size, it's about muscle quality. And that includes everything from blood circulation and nerve function to inflammation levels and coordination. A weak grip has been linked to higher risks of heart disease and heart failure, stroke and poor circulation, cognitive decline and memory problems, falls and fractures, which can be life-threatening for older adults. In fact, a large international study published in The Lancet found that weaker grip strength was more strongly associated with early death than even high blood pressure. That's how important it is. But here's the good news, it's easy to check. You don't need fancy equipment or a doctor's visit. Just pay attention when doing everyday tasks. Does your hand feel weaker when opening doors or jars? Can you carry groceries comfortably? Does shaking hands feel like more effort than it used to? If the answer is yes, don't panic. But don't ignore it either. The loss of muscle can be reversed or slowed. Studies have shown that regular strength training, especially exercises that involve squeezing or lifting, can significantly improve grip strength. Eating enough protein is also key, is staying physically active throughout the day. You can try using a stress ball or hand gripper at home doing light weightlifting, or even something as simple as wringing out a wet towel. The point isn't to become a bodybuilder, it's to stay strong enough to protect your independence, balance, and vitality. George eventually took action. With the encouragement of his doctor and family, he began doing hand and forearm exercises each morning while watching TV. After a few weeks, he noticed improvements. Carrying things got easier, his hands felt steadier, and best of all, he began to feel more confident in his body again. Because that's what this is really about. Strength isn't just about lifting weights, it's about lifting your life. It's about opening that jar, carrying that suitcase, playing with your grandkids, or simply holding on to the things that matter most. So if your handshake feels weaker than it used to be, don't shrug it off. Your body might be asking you to pay attention. And now let's move on to another sign that might show up, not in your hands, but in the way you walk. Have you ever been surprised by how slowly you're walking these days? Maybe you used to cross the street without thinking twice, and now you feel like you're cutting it close. Or maybe you used to walk side by side with your partner, but lately you've noticed they're a few steps ahead. It might seem like a normal part of aging, just slowing down a little. But here's the thing, walking speed is one of the most accurate indicators of your overall health and even your expected lifespan. Doctors have actually started calling walking speed the sixth vital sign. Just like blood pressure, heart rate, or body temperature, how fast you walk gives powerful clues about how well your heart, lungs, brain, and muscles are working together. When your walking pace drops significantly, it often means one or more of those systems isn't keeping up like it used to. Let me introduce you to Frank, an 80-year-old retired school teacher from Ohio. Frank has always enjoyed his daily walks. Rain or shine, he made it a point to get outside and move. A few years ago, he could keep up with his grandkids in the park, but lately he started falling behind. He finds himself crossing the street a little slower, needing to catch his breath more often and hesitating at curbs or uneven sidewalks. Frank told himself it was just the price of getting older. But what he didn't realize is that his slower walking speed was actually a sign that his body was struggling with mobility balance and cardiovascular efficiency. When we walk, it may feel simple, but it's a full body activity. Your heart has to pump enough blood to your legs and muscles. Your lungs need to deliver enough oxygen. Your muscles have to fire correctly and quickly. Your brain has to coordinate it all in real time. When one of those systems starts to weaken, like when the heart pumps less effectively or the nervous system slows down, your walking speed is often the first thing to change. Research backs this up. A large study published in JAMA Journal of the American Medical Association followed thousands of older adults and found that people with slower walking speeds had a much higher risk of early death, especially from heart disease and cognitive decline. And here's the surprising part, the difference was measurable even in people who otherwise seemed healthy. So what's considered a slow walking speed? Most experts agree that taking more than 6 seconds to walk 15 feet, about 4.5 meters, may be a red flag. That's why some doctors now include time walking tests during annual checkups. But you don't need a stopwatch to notice the change. Ask yourself, do I walk slower than I used to? Do I avoid walking longer distances? Do I feel unsteady or short of breath, even during simple walks? If so, it's time to take action, not by pushing yourself too hard, but by rebuilding your walking strength and stamina. Here's what helps daily walking. Even short walks around the block improve circulation and keep leg muscles active. Leg strengthening exercises. Things like sit-to-stand repetitions, toe raises, or light stair climbing. Balance drills such as standing on one foot or walking heel to toe to reduce fall risk. Proper footwear. Supportive, comfortable shoes that protect your joints and prevent slips. Frank eventually saw a physical therapist who helped him build a walking and strength routine. Within a couple of months, he noticed real changes, fewer stumbles, a steadier pace, and the confidence to walk wherever he needed to go. Because in the end, walking isn't just about movement, it's about freedom. It's about going to the store on your own, visiting a friend, or playing with your grandchildren. It's a symbol of independence and protecting. It is one of the most important steps you can take toward living a longer, fuller life. If you find yourself lagging behind or moving slower than you used to, don't ignore it. Your walking speed might be trying to tell you something important. And next we'll explore a sign that can be even more subtle yet potentially more dangerous. It's how your body responds to everyday exertion. Have you ever found yourself getting winded after just a short flight of stairs? Or needing to pause halfway through a simple walk across the parking lot? You might chalk it up to getting older or just being out of shape. But if it's happening more often, even during light activity, your body might be sounding a quiet but urgent alarm. Frequent shortness of breath can be one of the most important and overlooked signs that your health is under strain. Breathing should feel natural, unnoticed, automatic. So when you do start to notice it, when you feel like you need to catch your breath more often than before it's time to listen? Let's talk about Robert, a 77-year-old grandfather from Georgia, who's always loved working in his backyard garden. A few years ago, Robert could spend hours outside digging, trimming hedges, carrying watering cans. But gradually, things began to change. He started needing to sit down more often. Pulling weeds left him winded. Climbing up the porch steps made him stop to rest. At first, he blamed it on the summer heat, then on aging, then just on being tired. But what Robert didn't realize was that his shortness of breath was more than a nuisance, it was a warning. You see, breathlessness, especially during mild exertion, is one of the earliest signs that your lungs or heart might not be functioning properly. Here's why. When your heart isn't pumping efficiently, your muscles, including those involved in breathing, don't get enough oxygen. If your lungs are compromised, your body can't bring in enough oxygen or remove carbon dioxide effectively. Poor circulation or low red blood cell counts can also make you feel winded, even if you're not doing much. Conditions like chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, congestive heart failure, anemia, or even early-stage lung cancer often begin with subtle signs like breathlessness. And because the change is gradual, people like Robert don't notice until it becomes harder to ignore. Medical studies show that older adults who frequently experience shortness of breath, especially when it's new or worsening, have a significantly higher risk of early death, reduced mobility, and increased hospitalization. But here's something many people miss. Shortness of breath doesn't always mean gasping for air. It can feel like needing to take more breaks than before during walks, feeling lightheaded or tired after a simple chore, being unable to speak in full sentences without pausing for air, feeling tightness in the chest when exerting yourself. These symptoms are easy to dismiss, especially if you're still functioning mostly fine. But they deserve attention, especially if they're getting worse over time. So what can you do? Step 1 is to talk to your doctor. A simple heart or lung function test like a spirometry exam or an echocardiogram can quickly uncover problems before they become dangerous. Step 2 is to build your breathing fitness. This might include pursed lip breathing exercises which improve lung efficiency, low-impact aerobic activity like walking, swimming, or stationary biking, strengthening your diaphragm and core, which helps your lungs expand better. Step 3 is managing any underlying conditions like high blood pressure, sleep apnea, or chronic inflammation. These hidden issues can silently strain your heart and lungs. Robert eventually visited his doctor after encouragement from his daughter. He was diagnosed with early-stage heart failure, but because he caught it early, he was able to start treatment, adjust his activity, and dramatically improve his breathing. Now he's back in the garden, maybe a bit slower than before, but breathing easier and with greater peace of mind. Because the truth is this, your breath is your lifeline. If your body starts telling you it's struggling to catch air, don't ignore that message. Your oxygen levels are tied directly to your energy, your organ function, and your longevity. So if you've noticed yourself getting winded more often, even if you're not sure why, take it seriously. And next, we'll explore a surprising sign that's visible on the surface, but speaks volumes about what's happening deeper inside how your skin is healing. You probably don't think much about how fast a small cut or bruise heals. Maybe you bump your shin on the coffee table or accidentally nick yourself shaving. But if those little injuries seem to be taking longer to go away than they used to, your body might be whispering an important message. Wound healing is something we all take for granted until it starts to slow down. And in older adults, that slowdown isn't just inconvenient. It can be a sign that your body's internal repair systems are starting to struggle. Let's talk about Barbara, an 82-year-old retired nurse from Arizona. A few months ago, Barbara bumped her leg lightly against a kitchen chair. It left a small bruise, nothing unusual. But 2 weeks later, the bruise was still there. In fact, it looked darker and the skin felt thinner. Around the same time, she noticed a scratch on her arm from her cat that took nearly a month to fully close. A few years ago, both injuries would have healed within days. Barbara thought maybe she was just getting a little slower to bounce back. But in reality, her body was showing signs that her circulation and immune system weren't working as efficiently as before. Here's why this matters. Your skin is your first line of defense, and healing depends on how quickly your body can deliver oxygen, nutrients, and immune cells to the site of injury. When wounds heal slowly, it often means reduced circulation. Blood isn't flowing well enough to carry healing agents. Weakened immune response, fewer white blood cells reach the area. Poor tissue regeneration, collagen and skin cells rebuild more slowly. Hidden chronic conditions like diabetes or vascular disease that impair healing, and while a bruise that sticks around for weeks might seem minor, it increases your risk for infections, especially if the skin breaks. In older adults, even a small skin injury can escalate into cellulitis or, worse, sepsis, a life-threatening systemic infection. Several studies have shown that older adults with slow wound healing are more likely to face complications like long hospital stays, increased frailty, and yes, even shorter life expectancy. That's why doctors often consider skin recovery a key sign of how well the entire body's aging. So what can you do if you've noticed this change? First, check your circulation. Do your hands or feet feel cold more often? Do your legs swell by day's end? That could point to poor blood flow, especially in the extremities. Second, make sure your diet supports healing. Nutrients like vitamin C, zinc, and protein are essential for skin regeneration. Many seniors eat less than they used to sometimes without realizing they're missing key building blocks for repair. Third, stay hydrated and keep moving. Gentle exercise like walking or stretching improves blood flow and reduces inflammation. Even 15 minutes a day can make a difference in your circulation and skin integrity. Barbara eventually saw her doctor, who discovered early signs of peripheral artery disease, a condition that reduces blood flow to the limbs. With lifestyle adjustments, circulation-friendly foods, and a simple walking routine, she noticed that her bruises started fading faster again. It wasn't magic, it was her body responding to better care. Because the truth is, this slow wound healing is never just skin deep. It reflects how well your inner system's circulation, immunity, metabolism are holding up. And when those systems slow down, it shows up right on the surface. So if your cuts or bruises are lingering longer than usual, don't just write it off. Your skin may be trying to tell you something your heart or immune system can't say out loud. Coming up, we'll talk about the final and perhaps most alarming sign your body may be sending when you start losing weight without even trying. Let's explore why that could be more dangerous than you think. Many people think of losing weight as a good thing, especially in a culture where thin is often seen as healthy. But after age 60, weight loss without trying can be one of the most serious warning signs that something deeper may be going wrong. Think about it: if your weight starts dropping, but you haven't changed your diet or increased your physical activity, your body could be burning through muscle, not fat, and that's a sign of potential illness or breakdown beneath the surface. Let me tell you about Harold, an 81-year-old widower who had always maintained a steady weight. He wasn't overly focused on fitness, but he stayed active, ate 3 meals a day, and took pride in being able to carry groceries or mow his small lawn. Then over just a couple of months, he noticed his pants were looser. His belt went up 2 notches, and when he finally stepped on the scale, he realized he'd lost nearly 12 pounds without meaning to. Harold wasn't on a diet. He wasn't sick with the flu, and yet his body was shrinking. He felt a little more tired than usual. His appetite wasn't what it used to be, but otherwise nothing seemed obviously wrong, so he brushed it off. What Harold didn't know is that unintentional weight loss in older adults is a strong predictor of health decline and even higher mortality risk. Here's why muscle loss, also called sarcopenia, accelerates with age, especially if you're not eating enough protein or staying active. It weakens the immune system, reduces mobility, and increases the risk of falls. Malnutrition can occur even if you're eating regular meals, because as we age, our bodies absorb nutrients less efficiently. Underlying diseases such as cancer, heart failure, chronic infections, thyroid problems, or even early-stage dementia often begin with unexplained weight loss before more obvious symptoms appear. Medical studies have shown that a weight loss of just 5% of your body weight over a short period like 6 months can be a red flag. For someone who weighs 150 pounds, that's only 7.5 pounds. Not a dramatic number, but enough to signal concern. So how can you tell if it's time to act? Start by asking yourself, have you lost weight recently without trying? Are your clothes fitting differently? Are you feeling weaker, more fatigued, or less hungry than before? Has anyone else noticed your frame shrinking? If the answer is yes to any of these, don't delay. This isn't about vanity, it's about vitality. Talk to your doctor about any weight changes, especially if they're unintentional. Blood tests, imaging, and dietary assessments can uncover hidden issues. Track your weight regularly, once a week is enough. It helps you catch subtle changes early. Focus on nutrient-dense meals rich in protein, healthy fats, and essential vitamins. Sometimes even small increases in calories or protein can help rebuild strength. Incorporate light resistance training, even bodyweight exercises, to prevent further muscle loss. You don't need a gym, just movement. Harold eventually mentioned his weight loss during a routine doctor's visit. After a few tests, he was diagnosed with early-stage kidney disease and mild malnutrition. It was a surprise, but also a blessing because he caught it early. With dietary changes and physical therapy, he regained some of the weight, felt stronger, and now checks his scale every Sunday morning with purpose. Because here's the truth, losing weight when you don't mean to isn't usually good news. It's not about looking smaller, it's about staying functional, strong, and well-fueled. Your body doesn't drop pounds for no reason. And when it does, especially after 60, it's often a cry for help. The scale isn't just showing you a number, it may be showing you a pattern. If you've noticed the pounds slipping away without trying, listen closely. And now that we've walked through these 5 vital signs, let's bring it all together in the final section. A gentle reminder of what your body is telling you and how to take back your power. Now that we've walked through these 5 vital signs, take a quiet moment to reflect. Have you noticed any of these changes in your own body, or maybe in someone close to you? The truth is, aging doesn't happen overnight. It happens slowly, quietly. One small change at a time. A handshake that's not as strong. A walk that feels just a little slower. A breath that's harder to catch. A bruise that sticks around too long. A few pounds that vanish without explanation. These signs might seem unrelated, but together they're like puzzle pieces your body is laying out for you. And when you begin to notice them, it doesn't mean something terrible is about to happen. It means something important is happening, and it's your opportunity to act. You see, each of these changes is more than a warning. They're a second chance. A chance to reclaim your strength through small daily exercises. A chance to protect your independence by staying mobile and balanced. A chance to nourish your body with foods that help it heal and repair. A chance to catch a hidden issue before it becomes a crisis. Most importantly, it's a chance to listen more deeply to your body and to honor the wisdom it's offering you. Because your body has carried you through decades of experiences, joy, loss, laughter, hard work, and love, it deserves your attention now more than ever. And here's the good news. It's never too late to make a change. Studies continue to show that even modest improvements in strength, movement, breathing, or nutrition after age 60 can extend life, reduce hospital visits, and increase quality of life. Maybe you start with 5-minute walks each morning, or adding 1 more serving of protein to your lunch, or keeping a simple journal to track how you feel each week. These little things add up, and even if you're dealing with chronic health conditions or feel like too much time has passed, remember your body still responds to care. Always. So let's turn what we've learned into something meaningful. Let this video be a moment of awareness. Let it spark one decision, one conversation, one step in the right direction. Because longevity isn't just about adding years to your life, it's about adding life to your years. And that starts with paying attention to the quiet ways your body speaks to you. Thank you for spending this time with me today. I hope this video has helped you look at your health in a more empowering, hopeful way. If something in today's video spoke to you, maybe a sign you've experienced or a change you've noticed, please share it in the comments below. You never know who your story might encourage. And if you found this helpful, consider giving this video a like, subscribing to the channel, and turning on the bell for future updates. Your support allows us to keep creating thoughtful content for people like you, wise, experienced, and still growing every day. Until next time, take care of your body, listen to its signals, and keep moving forward with strength, awareness, and compassion. You're not alone on this journey, and you're never too old to thrive.